That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Since before many people living today were even born, we have known that man has set foot on the moon. The technical marvels of the Apollo mission were legend at the time, and have only become more legendary in the years since. Unfortunately, like most legends, such as King Arthur, Santa Claus, or socialism, people over time tend to think that they're more allegorical than factual. This has led to people questioning whether we even went to the moon, which is very unfortunate because we all know we have been. Otherwise, they wouldn't be teaching it in schools. For example, when Charles Darwin debunked the existence of God, schools were quick to follow, making sure that every child understood that their life was basically a random collection of chemicals and minerals and there was no fundamental meaning in the universe. This, of course, is the proper way of thinking about things, called reasonableism, and has led to many advances in civilization. However, there's always a few bad seeds in the bunch, though, who ask questions like, well, who proved that and how? Do you have a source? Naturally, this is irritating because although we know things are correct,
That looks like it's waving in the breeze.
it would take time and effort to actually prove it. It's like, we have it, but it's in the back under a bunch of boxes and fake Christmas trees. Plus, it's hot in that room. Do we really have to look for it? Is it that important? But eventually someone gets around to it, finds the source, and then the fools with their silly questions go back to their mother's basements. However, on occasion we run into, complications.
Everything that was happening aboard the Apollo 11 flight was constantly streaming down to antenna sites all over the world. From the astronauts' heartbeats to electrical use inside the command module, it was all recorded on these telemetry tapes. So where is this hard evidence?
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
But your own research has shown the telemetry data is missing.
That's right.
Could this be true? Mankind's first interplanetary exploration and the original science data is missing?
Apollo 11, this is Houston, radio check, over.
If it's anywhere, it should be here at NASA's Goddard Space Center in Maryland.
Doesn't have it either. The Smithsonian doesn't have it. Johnson doesn't have it.
Right. We've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists.
So they were lost, big deal. What are we trying to prove? We all know we went to the moon already. It was even on TV. Once we know we went to the moon, it's less about proving that it happened and more about shutting the so-called truthers up. If you give a crazy person an inch, they'll take your kidney. That's a fact. So, it was very relieving when some of the Apollo tapes turned up again this year. Apparently an intern had bought them.
When the signal was sent back from this television camera on the lunar surface, NASA recorded that data onto 45 slow scan tapes. And then those tapes were then scanned onto what these are. So there really is no such thing as an original per se, but rather a first generation recording of those signals. What the tapes contain is the full Moonwalk. So their first phone call from another planet to Richard Nixon, which is just one of these killer moments.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House.
And then they got sold for $1.8 million. Now, when I read about this intern, I can't help but think that he's a bad man. I mean, we've seen here that NASA was looking for these back in 2006 and had to reluctantly announce in 2009 that they couldn't find them. He was even supposedly talking to someone at NASA in 2008 and it didn't go anywhere. And now he's profiting $1.8 million personally? Sounds suspicious and awfully scummy on his part. And now, this is the quality of space tape that we have left. I mean, not to be critical, is that a ghost?
Hello, I'm Space Ghost.
Really, you ought to just return them if you had any real moral fiber. But you know what they say about interns in the 70s. The intern's honor aside, here's the bottom line, and I hate to do it. I don't want to call anyone in NASA or the government out, but these Apollo tapes, well...
That belongs in a museum.
So I've started a petition to have NASA or some other branch of the government buy back the Apollo tapes. They are part of our history and legacy, and something that has been so fundamental to our character as Americans.
And look up in the sky and see the moon. I can remember where I was 20 years ago, or I can pretend I've never been there, and it works for me either way.
They belong for all to see and be preserved for future generations. Plus, the next time a crazy conspiracy theorist comes up and asks, "Where are the Apollo tapes, bro? Where are they?" you can just point your middle finger towards the Smithsonian while humming the national anthem and drinking Tang, like Darwin intended.